14 people implicated in the looting of billions of rand from the now collapsed VBS Mutual Bank will be back at the Palm Springs Commercial Crimes Court this morning. In its indictment against the accused, the National Prosecuting Authority has detailed an alleged 2-year looting spree totaling more than 2.3 billion rand that ran from April 2016 to March of 2018. Now, earlier this year, the Hawks arrested and charged 7 more suspects with fraud, money laundering and racketeering. ANC Limpopo Treasurer Danny Msiza was among those arrested. Newzroom Afrika's senior political reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo has been tracking that story. She joins us now in studio. Ziyanda, it's one of those stories that we've been tracking for many, many years. Do you reckon with this case now moving, we're told, to the High Court, that we're going to see some real progress?
I think we will, Michelle, on many aspects. You'll recall, as you've mentioned, that these allegations came out after the release of that report by Advocate Terry Mudau, the Great Bank Heist report. And ever since then, one of the main questions that emanated from this report is, why did all those councils suddenly take a decision to take their monies from their municipalities and put it into VBS, the mutual lender, and actually break the law in essence, which is what Treasury had found, and who gave those instructions? So now that this matter, which has affected many people, 2.3 billion rand has been lost. More importantly, I think, Michelle, those lenders who had put their money from Stockfeld and the elderly, those were the most disadvantaged by this looting of a VBS, will finally maybe get some answers as to the intricacies of this entire enterprise, but why and who then gave those instructions. And that's why then it was so significant that Limpopo ANC Treasurer Danny Msiza was one of those who appeared 2 weeks ago. He was part of the latest arrests that was made by the Hawks earlier on this month, because it's quite clear, Michelle, that there were clearly some political instructions that were given, because in that report, Advocate Mudau does say that some of the finance officials within these councils were ignored when actually raising the flag to say we are breaking the Municipal Finance Management Act. And so who then would have benefited from actually moving this money that now law enforcement agencies are trying to recover?
That was actually my next question to you, because as we think back on the story, it's those scenes of pensioners sleeping outside of the bank, waiting for some information about whether they can get any of their money back. Those are the scenes that come to mind as we read the detail of the story. You know, one of the examples of one of the people involved, Charlotte Ngobeni, who is the municipal manager of the Collins Chabane municipality in Limpopo, she's been charged separately, apparently, for accepting kickbacks. Yep. In fact, she accepted a Range Rover worth about 1.4 million rand as part of the municipal money, her municipality's money, being moved to VBS Mutual Bank.
Absolutely, and if you read that indictment, it's 206 pages, which actually just unpacks then how money was moved and how some people allegedly benefited from the looting of VBS. By the way, Michelle, there are some municipalities who we're anticipating that some of their municipal managers will also be called to explain why they moved monies from their municipality, their councils to VBS. But yes, someone like Charlotte Ngobeni, she's accused of actually betraying the MFMA and actually by moving the money then getting kickbacks such as that Range Rover. And so what has been, I suppose, the explanation from law enforcement agencies in terms of why it's taken so long is because it's an entire enterprise, and you need to prove then how certain people would have benefited and the flow of money. And so this is why then you would have heard in the NPA Sipongwema saying they're starting from the ground up. Michelle, you'll recall that the former CFO of VBS, Philip Trotter, who actually entered into a deal with the NPA, he's believed to become a key witness for the state in terms of being able to give information in terms of how the enterprise worked. This is also against the backdrop of, remember, that the NPA is also quite paralyzed in terms of being able to investigate such financial crimes, especially specialized commercial crimes. And so as you've heard the Justice Minister saying they're going to bolster those efforts and boost in terms of the staff and complement in dealing with these crimes, it's very important that this matter is now going to the High Court, because now it means, one, that the NPA has the capacity to investigate this, but two, it means then that they're actually able to follow where the money has gone, which means then there might be more people like Philip Schutter who could enter into a deal with the NPA, and more revelations will be unpacked. And in terms of recovering the money, we know then that the liquidator, Newzroom, is on the hunt for that money. I mean, we know that the civil case was filed with KPMG to recover almost just over R500 million from KPMG. And so this just doesn't, is not just linked to the municipalities and municipal managers, but it's also got to do with the auditing firms who were entrusted with ensuring that they picked up on the money flows and anything that would have given, you know, red flags, which did not happen. And so this case has many implications, and I think it also falls into the much larger discussion that we continuously have about corruption and state capture.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's in the backdrop of that big NEC meeting as well that's happening, the ANC NEC meeting starting today and into the weekend. Ziyanda Ngcobo, thanks very much for coming into studio. VBS Mutual Bank, the wheels of justice turning slowly, but turning indeed.